I'm good. How are you?
Good. So today I called you in, so I'm going to do a little pre-conference with you about the lesson I'm going to come observe later this week. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right. So when I come in to observe your lesson, what is your objective for that particular lesson, and what subject will I be seeing?
Well, you're going to be seeing a math lesson for me,
Okay.
and it's going to be focusing on subtraction. And really, the strategy we're going to really be working on is the U.S. standard algorithm.
Okay.
But I really want to focus on the regrouping aspect of it.
Okay. So I'm going to see a math lesson, and you're going to be focusing on the U.S. algorithm for subtraction.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So what will your students be doing during the bulk of the lesson?
Well, I'm going to start the lesson by doing a little mini lesson with them and have them all be gathered around on the carpet. And once that is complete, that won't take too long, I will have them going back to their seats and working with table groups and using different manipulatives that might be useful to them while solving questions from their workbook.
Okay. All right. So as they're doing that, the students working in groups or by themselves, what will you be doing?
I will be walking around and, well, after I teach the lesson, I'll just be walking around and listening for if they're using the vocabulary and using the strategies that we just learned. And if I'm noticing they're struggling while they're doing the problems, I'll try to pull a couple of them in small groups, or if they're struggling as a whole table group, I'll just sit down and kind of take some time and see where the errors are occurring.
Okay. Sounds like you have a great plan for how to help some of your struggling learners.
Thank you.
You kind of talked about what you're going to do first and in the middle. How do you plan to close your lesson?
After we are finished doing the table groups, my goal is to have them come back in together as a whole group and kind of analyze what they did, and maybe if any questions they have, we can go over that. And once that's finished, I want to have an exit ticket that's just real short, real sweet. Just give everyone sticky notes and solve the problem that I wrote on the board.
Okay, great. So you talked about each aspect of your lesson. What's your plan for how long each one will take?
Hopefully the actual lesson aspect of it will take no more than 15-20 minutes, because I know they don't like sitting in one place for that amount of time. And then from there, the bulk of the lesson will kind of be around the activity. So hopefully I'll give them between 30-40 minutes on that. But if they're not grasping what I just taught them in the lesson, I'll try to bring them together a little sooner. So that piece is kind of up to their understanding of it and what I'm seeing. And then from there, when they come back in as a whole group on the carpet, that part will probably take no more than 15 to 20 minutes, and then the exit ticket probably no more than 10.
Okay, it's great that you're flexible and you know how your students learn so that you're able to pace it properly.
Thank you.
So what do you hope that you hear your students talking about or doing during their work time that will tell you that they've understood the lesson or grasped the concept?
While I'm walking around, I'm really hoping that they're using that vocabulary. I'm hearing them say subtracting, or I'm hearing them say regrouping.
Okay.
I'm not hearing, non-mathematical terms.
Okay.
Also, as I'm walking around, I just hope that they're actually grasping the concepts and they're able to implement those strategies and solve those questions successfully.
Okay, great. So what are your concerns that you might have for this lesson?
Subtraction is hard. So honestly, I hope they comprehend it. I hope that they understand what they're doing and they're actually understanding how the strategies are working.
Okay.
And also that they're not able to see the correlation between addition and subtraction, seeing how it's the opposite, because that can also be a really useful tool for them to see.
Okay, so you're concerned a little bit that they might not remember their addition algorithm, so it'll be a little harder for them to transition to subtraction.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, so when I come and observe you, I want to ask you if there's anything that you really want me to focus on, so that when we do have our post-conference, we can kind of touch base on that and give you some feedback. What would that be?
Watching, maybe listening for my questions, making sure that my questions dig deeper and that they'll allow them to see what they're doing, and how they're doing it, not just how to solve it. And also looking at my vocabulary, because I know I really want them to focus on using their math vocabulary, but I need to make sure that I'm using that vocabulary as well to help them transition it.
Okay. Well, Well, awesome. I'll definitely look for that. So I just want to do a little recap to make sure you know I'm on the same page. So I'm going to be seeing a math lesson over subtraction, correct? Okay, and your students should be collaborating with each other mostly, and they can also choose to work individually. And then I'll be looking for how you're questioning and what vocabulary your students are speaking with. And then once that's all over, we'll have a post-conference, next week to kind of go over this and give you some feedback.
Great, thank you.
All right, well, I'll talk to you later.
Thanks.
See you later. Bye.